Hi, gentlemen. I guess, Ron, we'll start with you. Simple question. Why Jamin Davis? Why was he the right fit for your team?
Precisely that fit. He understands our culture. He's got a tremendous background, the kind of background that I look for. Very smart, intelligent young man. Plays the game at the right tempo. He understands what they do, and that will translate very well into how we do things. Um, and he's the kind of fit in terms of he has position flex. He can play all of our linebacking positions. He's got that kind of athletic ability. He's what you look for in a football player.
And Ron, you've said all along you would react to what the board presented itself, and it appeared you had a chance to potentially maybe trade up and go get a quarterback. Did you consider that? And ultimately, why did you not go get that quarterback?
Well, we just felt looking at where we are right now with what we're doing, to be patient, to sit and wait and see what happens. We felt strong about it. We really did. This isn't just about trying to put a piece. We have a chance to put pieces into place, and so we felt that's probably a better direction. At least I believe that's a better direction for us right now.
Thank you.
Hey guys, this is the question for both of you, but if we want to start with Ron, what was the dynamic like when you're looking at these players and ultimately deciding on Jamin? Is that something that you say, hey, we like this guy, you guys come together? What was that dynamic like with you two to ultimately select this player?
Well, I think it's really about a collaboration amongst a lot of people, not just the two of us. And I think Martin will tell you, we spent a lot of time talking about these guys. We spent a lot of time individually. Spent a lot of time on tape. We had several guys go to his pro day, come back and talk about it. The coaches did a terrific job. The scouts did a terrific job. And we collaborated when we did our readings. Then we came together this week, right, Martin? And we met with the coordinators.
Yep.
And we talked to them about their rankings. And Jamin was the highest player we had ranked defensively.
It was just a situation, I think, where the grade matched up with the need. I can't say enough. I want to piggyback off what Coach said. The great job that Marty Herney did, that Tim Gribble did, our our area guys did, and our coaches in all the meetings. So it was a collaboration with everybody. And this guy just checked a whole bunch of boxes for us. I mean, outstanding athlete, explosive athleticism, 11-foot broad, 42-inch vertical. He's 6'3.5". He's over 230. He ran under 4.5. So he has all the physical attributes that you want. He had great production last year, had 100 tackles in 10 games, over 100 tackles in 10 games. So he checks that box, and then he checks the box of just being a great football character guy. He fits us. He fits what we're trying to do, and he fits our culture.
And actually, you led right to my next question. Just quickly for Ron, I know all the numbers are wonderful, but certainly you're always looking at the character. What can you tell us and our viewers about what the kind of guy Jamin is and what DC is getting with him?
Well, I think we're getting a solid fit to what we're trying to create in terms of the culture. We talk about having sustainable winning culture. These are kind of guys that you want to plug in. Very strong family support. He was a military brat. As it was mentioned earlier, he was born in Hawaii on a military base. So again, I'm very partial to guys like that because I've played with a lot of guys who have that kind of family background. He's a solid young man who's very bright, very intelligent. And as I said, I just really believe he's the right kind of fit for us.
Thank you.
Darren? Go ahead, Nikki.
Hi, Ron. When you were talking to when you were talking to Jamin over the last few months, what really stood out to you as you were having these Zoom calls with him?
Wow, there's so many things stuck out about it. I really did. First of all, he sticks out on tape, and so he just the fact he's a good football player really gets your attention. Then you start to talk to him, and you talk a little bit about, hey, tell me about your family, tell me about growing up, and he talked in such a positive fashion of all the things that were positive in his life that he had got through his family. And then you start talking about him, and he wants to talk about his team. That I found very refreshing because it was always about, well, we did this as a team, we did this, and the guys were like this, and so the conversation really wasn't just about him, and that really struck me as a real positive as well. His football acumen was outstanding. Talking about the way he played, the things that he did, how they did things. That's the kind of stuff that really kind of led me in the direction of really just thinking this is the right kind of young man that will fit into our program.
And just a quick follow-up for both you and Martin. I know he was fast rising to media and maybe to some analysts. When did you guys first notice him, though?
Yeah, well, for me, in our early draft meetings, his name came up. I hadn't done a whole lot of work on him then, but our area guys in that area spoke very highly of him. I started digging into him, and you just saw the guy shows up on tape the way Coach said. I mean, his range, he has some knockback to him. He plays very smart. I mentioned his athletic ability earlier. You see that on tape immediately, and then you start digging into more who the guy is. He loves football. He loves the process. He loves to work at it. He loves that grind. That's the kind of player that we really want to build with here.
And it's interesting is he just wasn't a fast riser, just because some folks in the media don't know who he is. But when you look at pro days, and one of the things that we always talk about is that who's at what pro days, and you look at who's at his pro day, and then where those people went after their pro days. So my point being is that when guys that are looking at linebackers go from one school to the other school to the next school, and they all seem to show up there, that tells you that some other people see the same thing you're seeing, or they wouldn't be showing up to watch the pro days. So, we tracked that, and that was a real positive as well, because of the people that we knew were there. And some of these people that were there are people that know linebackers. So I felt pretty good about what we were, that type of intel that we were getting.
This can be for both of you guys. You talk about the athleticism, seeing that on film. There can be guys who are athletic, but maybe aren't good linebackers. So how did you see that athleticism translating into really good linebacker play for him?
Well, he was one of the top tacklers in the NCAA last year. Pro Football Focus had him ranked as the highest linebacker. He was ranked the 14th top prospect by Mel Kiper. It goes on and on. I mean, we weren't the only ones that saw that. The athleticism I talk about is the athleticism I saw on tape, which led to tackles. Martin told you he had over 10 tackles in 10 games this year on the average, averaging 10 tackles a game. That's over 100. So is a very productive football player to go with that athleticism.
Yeah, the production really stood out in the run game and the pass game. He not only had over 100 tackles, he had 3 interceptions. One he took back to the house against Tennessee, which was a great play. And he had several pass breakups too. So this guy was around the ball. This guy was active. He was showing up around the ball and making plays. And there are guys that are just athletic on pro days, but you put that tape on, this guy's a football player. He is a football player.
And because this was his first year, and either one of you guys can answer this, but because this is really his 1 year playing, how did you see him progress from start to finish?
Oh, as you watch the tape, you just see it. The Tennessee interception was that he returned for the touchdown. You get a chance to watch it. Watch how he takes his angle on his drop, retreats, and then rolls back inside underneath to make the interception. I mean, that's a very natural football play right there. A lot of guys that don't get it, don't understand it, don't do that type of technique, don't play that way. And that was such a natural feel for him. But if you watch the way he started the season out and watch the progression and growth, you see it. You feel comfortable knowing that this kid is still growing. He hasn't even come close to his ceiling, in my opinion. I think this young man has got a high ceiling. It's got some more growth and could potentially be an even better player in the near future.
JP.
Hey, Ron, you named Kiper in Pro Football Focus. Just so you know, Fred Smoot really liked Jamin Davis too. I did want to ask, you talked about the pieces going forward. What do you turn your attention to Friday night?
The other positions we feel we need to address.
Linebacker was one you mentioned, also having a lot of depth. Is that something you keep going with, or do you turn to the offensive line, quarterback? There's got to be some focus on the offense, I would imagine.
Oh, there is, most certainly. I mean, there's several guys in several positions that we feel very good about. I know Martin and the scouts and Marty, they've stacked them very well. We were just looking at them before we came in and having a chance to see who's been taken, but we'll get back in there and look. If those stacks remain the way they are for the different positions, we'll feel really good about tomorrow.
And then, Martin, just quickly, how do you feel about this next tier of QBs, how they stack up kind of historically for, Friday night picks?
There's some very talented quarterbacks there. We're going to listen to our board, though. I mean, we're going to listen to our board. We did a ton of work stacking the board, and we're going to listen to it. So we're going to go what position. We're going to follow our grades, and we're going to address needs, but we're really going to just listen to our board and follow that. The quarterbacks look good. We've got some excellent quarterbacks on our roster right now. I feel great about Ryan. I feel great about Taylor. I feel great about Steven Montez. I feel great about Kyle Allen. So we've got some talented quarterbacks here already, but there are some on the board as well.
Thank you, guys.
That Kentucky program, obviously it's not a blue blood program, but it's produced some good linebackers. Was there anything you liked about that fit and the coaching and the scheme there?
Well, the biggest thing more than anything else is he plays a stack linebacker position. We are a 4-3 defense now, so we really don't need guys that play up on the line predominantly. We need guys that have the ability to stack and flow. He played in the SEC, and so he's playing high impact football. He's playing against guys that will be on Sunday, and he played well against those guys. So that was one of the things that led to part of this decision, just knowing the type of competition he faced and was productive against that type of competition.
You had mentioned the pro day. Can I ask who you guys sent to pro day?
No.
Good deal. Appreciate it.
Hey, for either of you, for both of you, there was a lot of talk about possibly going offensive line with this first pick. Just curious if that was a overstated view from the outside, and obviously, and did the Eric Flowers acquisition just before the draft factor into what you guys possibly were going to do at 19?
Well, there is a lot of talk before the draft about a lot of things, and it's been my history that a lot of that is just talk. It wasn't coming from us. We had not made a decision that we're going to take any particular position. We had a number of guys, a group of guys that we thought would be there that were attracted to us. Jamin was at the very top of that group, and we're very excited to have him.
And you were asked before about possibly making a move up for a quarterback. Obviously, there's trade talk in all kinds of directions. Just curious, how much for you guys was there to not anything significant or not much at all?
There was enough. Martin was fielding the calls, and some of it was about up, some of it was about back, some of it was about picks. So, we just kind of listened, and with each pick and seeing, like Martin said, that we had a stack of guys, and it was a good stack, and we saw it slowly being shaped, and we were very confident that the right guy was going to be there for us.
Hey, Ron, we talked before the draft about the difference in expectations between a number 2 overall pick like last year and a number 19 this year. But given that Jamin was your top-rated defender on your board, I wonder if that maybe ratchets things up a little bit even in year 1.
I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying.
You were saying that the number 2 pick obviously is going to have higher expectations as a rookie.
Right.
But I wonder that at 19, given that Jamin's your top-rated defender, if maybe he has a little bit higher expectations from you guys in year 1.
Well, I think the expectations are what they are from as far as a first-round pick is concerned, and he is at a position that we felt we needed to address. So there will be an opportunity, most certainly, and there will be some expectations, and I believe his expectations for himself will be as high as mine are for him.
Mm-hmm. And Jamin talked to us about, obviously he says he wants to get better with his hands, get better maybe in those tight spaces and taking on blocks. I wonder, when you think about linebacker development, kind of how do you start that, and kind of how does that progress as maybe he goes forward?
One of the things in watching the way he plays is I do agree he can use his hands a little bit better, but he does have a good knack for slipping blocks, front side and backside. One of the things I do like is his ability to strike. I'd like to see him keep his focus a little bit longer on defeating the blocker, then locating the ball, because every now and then he'll throw his eyes in the backfield too soon and allow an angle to get himself cut off. But the young man has really progressed. Like I said, got an opportunity to watch early in the season, middle of the season, and late in the season, and just like the growth. And I think he will adapt and grow very quickly for us as a linebacker on our football team.
Thank you.
Hey, Martin, I wanted to ask you first. There was a lot of activity in kind of that 10 to 18 range in front of you. And I wonder if anything that was going on with division opponents all making moves back and moves up, if anything kind of gave you pause as you looked at the board and thought about the guys that might come to you or might be available to you.
No, actually, really up until our pick, it went pretty much the way we thought it would go. We got a few calls, but we didn't think seriously about making any move. We felt very comfortable there, and again, I'd say Marty, Tim, Ron, all of our coaches and everybody, we did a really good job, I think, in the meetings, trying to anticipate what those moves might be and trying to see how the board was going to fall. And it really fell the way that we thought that it would.
And Ron, for you, I know it's on paper until you get on the field, but when you think about what you all were able to accomplish defensively last season, and you add Jackson, and now you add Jamin, and you're getting Ioannidis back, what do you think is possible for your group next year, for that unit specifically, in terms of adding to what it did last year?
Hopefully getting better, correcting the things that we need to correct, focusing on improving. I think we have some ability. I think the biggest thing, more than anything else, though, is we got to understand that that was last year, and so the expectations people are going to have with them are going to be different than it was last season as well. So we'll see. But the biggest thing that I want to make sure our guys understand is this is 2021.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Jamin was saying in his call with us that as part of the Zoom, he was going over your guys' defense for a little bit. Was there a play of yours that stuck out to you that showed really his knowledge of your guys' scheme, and kind of what did you take away from him? Just how much he knew about the way that you guys played defense, considering he wasn't here.
Well, I think the thing that really stuck out in my mind, just listening to him talk about football in general, was understanding fits. We do emphasize run fits as part of our defense, and understanding, what your leverage is, because that to me is about playing team defense more so than anything else. And if you understand where you fit, how to play with leverage, you can fit in a team defensive scheme. That's something that I was real appreciative of. When you watch him on tape, you see that he understands what they did more so, and that's important because watching some of the guys that I did this year, I try to get a feel for what I think they're doing. With Jamin, it was easy, especially he and his teammates, because they seem to be pretty well coached and seem to play pretty disciplined football. So that was a plus as well.
And then just Ron, Martin kind of went over how the scouts kind of showed him about Davis. When was the first time you watched Jamin Davis? Do you remember the first time?
Yeah. I watched him early in the process. Martin and Marty give me a list to go through, guys that they highlight and feature, to make it easy on me, because I'm watching all the positions on the field, not just linebackers. I'm watching all of them. And so based on, what they gave me, it was easy, and to me, linebacker is easy to watch and easy to grade. And so as I was going through the process, he just kept sticking out. I mean, there are several guys that we really liked because of their athleticism, their abilities. But this guy had the most position flex than any of them. And that's important to me because I believe, a guy that can play all your positions, linebacking positions, will learn quickly, will develop quickly, will understand quickly, and can help others around him. And again, as I said, the thing that struck me is how bright he is. I mean, he's a sharp young man, and I think that translates well into what we do and how we play. You know, and giving him the opportunity, you know, that he's going to earn is pretty exciting. So I think we have the potential, you know, to really have a solid group.
We'll take three more with Les, Pete, and Russell.
Hey, this is for both you guys. So through the process, I've heard you guys say things like, we don't want to mortgage the future. Obviously, it's about trading up and doing those kinds of things. What does that mean in terms of building this team? Is there something tangible? Does that mean not you know, preserving your future first round picks? What does it exactly kind of mean?
Well, for me, what it means is just making sure that you're the best team you can be right now, and giving yourself the opportunity to be the best team you can be in the future too. And you know, for us, draft picks are very valuable. It's a means to get younger, to get healthier, to get faster, and honestly, with the salary cap, to get cheaper. So draft picks are very important, and we want to build this team through the draft. We want to supplement our draft process with free agency. And, you know, for us, where we are as a football team right now, we see that investing in this group with draft picks is going to make us better and make us better fast, we believe.
Absolutely. I agree with what Martin's saying, because again, it's some of the things that we talk about when we're in the draft room is, you know, who would you be willing to give up certain things for? And there were really only a couple guys that we felt were worthy of us giving up a lot. And if you get to a point where you do that, in my opinion, you give up too much for the wrong guy, you know, say, well, we need a guy like that. Well, how badly do we need him that we're gonna handicap us at another position? So, you know, you have to do it judiciously. And I just felt, you know, listening to what the scouts were talking about these guys, that, you know, these guys are going to fit roles. They're going to play positions for us, and they're not going to be the only reason why. They're going to be part of the reason why.
Really fast, would trading up, would those, the guys you were talking about, worth trading up for? Were they quarterbacks?
They were guys that we felt could help our football team.
Okay, thanks.
Ron, earlier in the call, you said Jamin plays with great tempo. I'm just wondering if you can expand on that and describe what that means to you.
Fast. He plays fast. From the time he's getting set and get ready to play to the time that the play's over, he plays fast. He's you know, you put tape on, you watch guys, you know, just before the ball snaps, they're kind of lumbering around and, you know, just kind of, when the offense gets to the ball, he's set, he's ready to go. His movement is fast. The play's happening, the play's away from him, he's running to the play. He doesn't play behind the ball. He tries to get to the ball and get in front of the ball. He has a tempo, and it's an up tempo. And I know you guys that come out to practice have heard me yell tempo. We play fast. That's what I'm looking for. You know, a guy that's a tempo setter. He plays fast. His teammates are going to play fast. Those are the kind of guys that I look for. I saw that in him. I saw it in several guys, you know, to be quite honest. And there are some really good players, you know, that we still have on the board going forward that have a good tempo about the way they play.
And Martin, I mean, between Curtis Samuel, William Jackson, Jamin Davis, there's just been a lot of speed added to a group that already has, you know, McLaurin and Gibson and the likes of that. Just how important is it to upgrade this team's speed after looking at their roster last year and moving forward to next season?
Well, team speed is very important. I mean, the team speed is key, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in terms of shutting other people down, being able to cover ground in the secondary, being able to get guys on the ground. Offensively, of course, explosive plays are made by guys who have team speed. So we're looking for fast players. We want fast players. We want physical players. We want smart players. And Jamin is all those things.
Russell, last one.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Thanks for doing this. Ron, specifically because you have the linebacker experience and so does Jack, and along with Coach Russ, does that allow you to take a guy that maybe has a higher ceiling that isn't quite as developed yet because of that experience on the coaching staff?
I think so. Again, you feel good because of who's going to start off with them. You know, Coach Russ is a very intricate coach. He teaches the details. The little things are very important to Coach Russ, and that'll translate well. You have a young man who takes direction very well. With Jack, you know, and especially with Jack coordinating the defense, with his experience, it will be very easy to translate things to Jamin because of Jack. And so you feel comfortable and confident about that. And the guys that are around him too. I know somebody asked a question about him playing behind our defensive line. That's special. I mean, he'll learn, he'll grow, and he'll get an opportunity to make plays and be productive for us, as will our other linebackers. I mean, you know, they're in a good situation, a good position, but knowing that, you know, Coach Russ and Jack obviously played the position, and all three, all three of us played in the league, you know, it gives us an opportunity to really help coach the kid up if he needs it.
And just a quick follow-up, and this could be for Martin or Ron. I know you said he has position interchangeability, meaning he can play all three linebacker spots. Is there a plan right now, or does that need to develop over camp? How does that kind of process work, identifying where he might be best at early on?
Well, we have a feel where we want to start him off. And the biggest thing that we will do more so than anything else is we will find out about that position flex as well. You know, again, it's about being able to move parts and move pieces. And if something happens during a game, knowing that, you know, you can move a guy to a spot and feel just as comfortable as if the other guy something didn't happen to the other guy. So that's a very important piece for us because the guy that may be coming in may not be as good at that spot as him. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons why. It's like guards and tackles that are interchangeable, especially as backups and starters. It adds depth to positions as well. I mean, we got into a situation last year where we had two defensive linemen go down. I believe it was a Cincinnati game, or excuse me, the Cleveland game. And because we didn't have an interchangeable guy that gave us position flex, we had to play the game with three defensive tackles. You know, and come fourth quarter, the guys that were still up and standing, they were wore out. They were beaten up. It was tough. It was physical. But to have a guy that you could say has the flex to go down and play that position and give you a rotational guy, that's important. It's the same thing for pretty much any position we have.